Bang.
Yo, it's Fresh in the Flesh with a book review. John C. Maxwell, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. You follow these laws, people will follow you. John Maxwell is one of my favorite authors and speakers. He's a leadership guru, expert. But guru, I always come back to this. Guru, if you break down the word is G. You are you. Gurus just show you your own potential, your own awesomeness. So they reveal that to you. And I think John Maxwell revealed really well in this 10th anniversary revisited and updated version of the 21 Irrefutable Laws that, hey, I'm a leader and I can create other leaders, which is one of the things I got from the book. I'm going to quickly run through each of the laws, 21 laws, and then we'll dive into some of my biggest takeaways for you. Okay? So first, before we get in, how are you showing up in life as a leader? Day to day, through the last year, 2015, how'd you do? Moment to moment, it's difficult. But if you think of yourself as a leader, what I find is you'll hold yourself to a higher standard. Okay? What I mean is if you think bigger, not just little old me, not just yourself, but if you think, oh, what do the kids think if I behave this way? If I'm a role model, what if people follow this type of behavior? It's going to hold you to a better version of yourself. Okay, you'll do the right thing. And what's right? Well, right in line with what you value and what you know is true. What you want to be. You'll have these moving towards values you'll start living. So if you want to, I think leadership's great to study that. And who doesn't want to be a leader? Who doesn't want to be in the front? Sometimes behind, telling other people to go. So we have a lot of misconceptions of leadership that I'd like to debunk in this video. So here we go. The first one is the law of the lid. Okay? Your personal growth, your personal ability will only go as high as your leadership is. So I think we're going to go into that one. I'll do it right now because I think that one's so important. It's the first law. He talks about how there's a chart here. Your effectiveness, your success dedication, you can only go in like your success and effectiveness as high as your leadership lid. So if you improve your leadership ability, boom, your other abilities that's breaking through can bust through. So definitely go a little deeper on this. Take more. You actually save energy in the long run if you can develop your leadership ability. Okay. What is leadership? First of all, well, leadership is influence. It's influence. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, you're not a leader unless you have followers. So are you influential? Can others hear you? Are you? You might be quiet. There's leaders such as people who couldn't see. Ray Charles. Who was the other guy who played the piano? Steve. What's his name, Julian? The guy who plays the piano.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. These guys are leaders. People who couldn't speak. Helen Keller. These people are leaders. Mother Teresa, quiet, small lady, leader. So actions are leaders too, right? What actions are you taking day to day? Okay, the next one is the law of influence, where he really breaks down leadership. And he talks about Abraham Lincoln. He uses some great, people in here. He talks about that Teddy Roosevelt in the next law, which is the law of processes, which is one of my favorites. Okay? Because leadership's a journey. You're always going to be growing in your ability to be a leader. We're going to make mistakes on this path. It's how you deal with them. And that's another part of leadership. Okay, the law of navigation. Anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. You have to have a plan. You have to have a purpose. Because if you don't have a plan, you fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they got planned for you? Not much. Okay, the law of addition. The law of addition. Leaders add value by serving others. And I've talked about it before. How do you know? How can you serve others? Well, you find out others' unique interests and motivations and you serve them that way. Or even a step further, you find out what they need and you give them what they need. They may not even know. But you can recognize it because you're seeing them from an objective perspective. Okay? So he talks about Fortune 500, CEOs and companies, things they, he spoke to. And they're not in line with the values and doing things right. Well, that's what that addition, you could add value that way. You can navigate the course for them. And the things aren't usually going right because they violate this law, the law of solid ground. Trust is the foundation of leadership. If there's not trust in a company, if there's not trust in a relationship, it doesn't have that foundation. I lived in the Hollywood Hills for 4 months, and the houses were on these hills. And it was, how did that happen? There could be a mudslide to make them fall, but they have a good foundation nowadays. And if they don't, the house could fall. There could be trouble. But there's this core rock solid foundation. Boom. That makes it even, and then they build the house on that. If you have a house in the sand, no, it's not going to work. It's going to get blown over. It's not going to be stable and sturdy. House on the rock, built with a great foundation, determines how high it can go. So it's kind of corresponding to the law of the lid. Okay. Next one, law of respect. People naturally follow leaders stronger than themselves. Okay. Not saying you're above someone, but it could be a certain area where you have more expertise, more experience, and you're just extraordinary in. You're above the ordinary. So me, maybe it's fitness. I have an exercise science degree. I study a lot on eating healthy, and I practice that. I'm great at getting mentors. I'm connecting with people. So there's these different areas which I can offer value. I've really cultivated good habits, communication, public speaking. These are some skills I can help someone else. And do I know a lot about finances? And not yet. No, not really. Am I an expert in relationships? I'm honestly not. So I can follow someone doing well and model them in that area. So you want to lead in the area which you're strong at, which that's just going with God. That's going with nature, right? Going with the universe. Doubling down on what is given to you. Finding your gift and making it your purpose to fulfill it and hit your pinnacle and potential with it. So we all leaders, and we all have something special, and you lead in that area. You can set yourself up to win and become a leader. Like what I did, I wanted to be exercise science president. I didn't know how to manage a club, but I jumped off the cliff and I've kind of figured my things on the way out. You could throw yourself into a fitness group class. You could, like I also did, I got a yoga certification. I didn't know yoga that much, but then when I took the certification, I learned a lot more about it, and then I was teaching it, and by teaching it, I was the source of it, which made me more resourceful. I was a sorcerer of what I wanted to create. Okay? I was making people do these poses and making them feel really good and stretch and strengthen and balance and reduce their stress and meditate. So you can go set yourself up to win that way. Okay, that's I think would be the challenge. How could you be a leader in a certain area where you're not a leader in? And then where can you be a leader in something you are gifted at and good at, great at, where you can lead others? Okay, and you can reach out to others saying, hey, can I show you? Can I coach you? So I'm kind of riffing on these. We might just do it this way. So that's the law of respect. Why are people following you? You got to have some type of, they have to respect you in that area. You could think back to all the greats, boxers, all the top people. They followed them and modeled them because they were great at what they did. The law of intuition. Leaders elevate everything. They have leadership bias. They're focused. They know, they believe that leadership is the way to go. They know they're the leader. And like Steve Jobs kept reinventing Apple and taking it to the next level. You can look into that because he had this intuition of a leader. It was his responsibility in a way too. So it goes more in depth with Steve Jobs. Law of magnetism. I love this ability, magnetism. I've read books like The Charisma Myth, and I just think it's important to couple this power with warmth. Bill Clinton had this magnetic air about him. They've talked about compelling people. Hillary Clinton is more dominant in one area. She's more powerful. And then there's other people who had this gift to be magnetic and charismatic. Who you are, though, is who you attract ultimately. I come back home after this hero's journey of traveling, and I got my buddy Julian helping me out here. And he's one of the, I'm so blessed to have someone so positive, so influential, so smart, so skilled in my life back in my hometown. I didn't have that before, but I became more, so I attracted people like that into my life. We were hanging out with another friend. Healthy eater, positive person, reads. Well, I'm attracting who I am. So you want to attract better people in your life. Be the leader you want to be. Be the person you want to be in those areas, and you'll attract higher people. Because as you go up, you'll meet other people. But getting mentors is part of that journey, which I've talked a lot about, and I'm going to be continuing to share about. So learn how to get mentors. Okay, ask me about how to do that, and I'll certainly help you with that. Next, law of connection. Leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. You got to give value first. With this, you can look at yourself, a new leader, like they talk about John, I forget what his name was. John knew that, I think they're just picking a name, the most influential person in the organization could torpedo his leadership. So what did he do? He reached out using a law of connection. But he didn't reach out. He reached out with a piece of value. He reached out with, oh, here's this information. Here's this book. Here's this connection I can give you. There's many different ways to offer value. And then, he may ask for help. So leaders do this. Leaders constantly just give. They have like 8 hands, like Machamp from freaking Pokemon. They're like an octopus. They're just boom, boom. They're like Ganesh, boom, boom, just giving stuff. Because they're leaders. Leaders are, as Elliot Holst calls them, kings. King is a book I'll be doing in the future, by the way. Elliot Holst's new book. So they lead from this place of generosity. And then eventually they get more coming back to them because they have been given. They've been given gifts and they've been giving gifts, right? They've been given gifts and then they have been giving gifts. The other thing is the law of inner circle. A leader's potential is determined by the people closest to him. I surround myself with other leaders. Okay? Law of 33%. People at the same level as you, people above you, people below you. How are you applying that? Talks about how Lance Armstrong, he had a circle around him. Maybe it didn't help him after all, but not just Lance Armstrong, like they say in his book, think of other people. When you read books like this, they make a connection, you make your connections, you write notes in the book. They talk about law of empowerment. Only secure leaders give power to others. You're going to give responsibilities to others. You're going to have to empower and motivate and inspire others. Like Henry Ford did when he was creating all these cars. Detroit. So we have the law of the big picture. The law of the picture. People do what people see. You have to get people fired up, which goes into the next one, the law of the buy-in. So people bought in and believing. People seeing your vision, knowing your vision, right? And your mission, and then believing and going into that and getting about that and getting riled up about it and believing it and sharing it with others. Right? I can think of Ty Lopez. Oh, the good life. Health, wealth, love, happiness. Read a book. Read. Elliot Holst, Grow Stronger. I bought into their ideas. So, if you want to be a leader, you have to have people buy into you. So you have to be persuasive. You have to be magnetic, charismatic. You have to really deliver everything. Law of victory. Leaders find a way for the team to win. Law of Big momentum. Oh, this was a great one. Momentum is a leader's best friend. Momentum is so strong in my life right now, and it's making me become a leader. It's making me level up in a sense. So you got to have momentum on your side. Law of priorities. Leaders understand activity is not necessarily accomplishment. Great book to couple that is The One Thing. All right, priorities, purpose, progress. Focusing on your top 80-20. Law of sacrifice. A leader must give up to go up. I disagree with this one. Yes, it's true you got to give up to go up, but it's not. I don't like the word sacrifice. I've switched it to the conscious decision. I make conscious decisions. I know the law of priorities, so it's not so much a sacrifice. You see what I'm saying? I know I value this over that, so I'm going to decide that. Okay, I don't feel no pain. There's not a lot of sense of pain. I know, for me to get the goals I want, I might have to sacrifice some romantic relationships towards me going towards my goal. Because, that could help me personally grow. However, I'm traveling, I'm more focused on my purpose. And maybe that won't get me short-term results, but it'll get me long-term results. Okay? I may have to invest a lot of money in myself and miss out on pleasurable things. Okay? It's just short-term gratification. I understand, even family. There may be some resistance from my family as I pursue my dreams, but in the long run, they'll see that I was right. They'll see I'm living the life I chose to live. I'm writing my own ticket in life, and it'll come back around. And it's really giving up certain areas of life to go up in others, and giving up the short-term gratifications, short-term success for the long-term success. But is it giving it up, or is it just choosing? I think that's the law of conscious decisions, the law of value. 17 and 18 are one and the same. Law of priorities, the law of sacrifice. But he talks about it. Maybe I should read it again. The law of timing. Yeah, I'm pretty certain on it, honestly. I'm going in on it right now. You gotta find your priorities and you do what's most important, and you don't look back. Successful people don't make the right decisions. They make their decisions right. Okay? The law of timing. That came at the perfect timing for me to think back how Elliot talked about that and to deliver that. Good timing. But this is at a bigger scale. This is, leaders know what's important as to what to do, as to where to go. It's like Confucius says, it's okay to get angry. I mean, it's not okay to get angry. Anybody can get angry. And to get angry at the right person, at the right time, in the right situation, for the right reason, now that's a little bit harder. So it's infusing these time and, be in the right place at the right time. And not necessarily. You got to be the right person in the right place at the right time, knowing the right people. So timing is all those. It's not just that. They talk about how leaders at every level have dropped the ball. The mayor, the governor, the secretary, the president, not one of them understood the potential devastation that can come when a leader violates the law of timing. There's a time to do things. In this story, I don't know if it's this chapter, but he talks about how George Bush, I think this was it. I read this a while ago. I was just skimming through it before I shared it with you guys. George Bush went to New York City, 9/11, and he handled it great. He shook everyone's hand. He got there right away, and he was fired up, and he said the right things, and treated the firemen and hospital people with respect, and said the right things, and just responded well to it. He went to Hurricane Katrina down in New Orleans, and his timing was all off, and he just handled it awfully, horribly. It's just the truth of what it was. And he sent people there late, 3 days late, and it was just bad. And what he said wasn't, the best. And the law of timing was affected there. I think it might have been another chapter, but I could see how it's affected here. So timing's everything. You got to, if you're a leader, this is from How to Win Friends and Influence People too. Save face. You can correct somebody in front of everybody, or you can do it at another time when it's just you and them. So I hope you're getting a lot out of this. I'm going to go over the last two laws. The law of explosive growth. Explosion of growth. And that's what we do. Massive action. To add growth, leaders lead followers. To add growth, lead followers. To multiply leaders. So one way a leader can just explode is creating other leaders. Not just having followers, but making those leaders create more leaders, creating more leaders, and duplicating yourself. Julian, I'm going to ask for you to speak on this. Cutco. You were a leader for Cutco. You can even flip the camera around to you, spin it around, whatever. Have you seen this to be true? Leaders creating other leaders. How's this the case?
When I was doing Cutco, I took it upon myself to grow other people in my organization and also inside the company. I've done multiple national talks as well as keynote speeches, and I really wanted to focus on growing them personally.
You gave them books and stuff?
Yeah, books,
shared information?
audios, the top audios that were related inside the company and also outside the company. But the main focus was to grow them personally, because in sales, there's going to be a lot of adversity. And when it comes to a lot of adversity, you're going to need to have a strong stamina up in your brain, because you can't really emotional every single day. It's not going to go all up. It's going to have ups and downs and ups and downs. And the more I learned about personal development and the more I taught it to different people, I became the leader in the source, and I was able to instill that, and also not only reps, but managers as well.
Yeah, you just mentioned a couple of laws that I mentioned that you applied there. So I challenge you guys to think of what that was. First of all, he offered the law of priorities. That was a priority for him. The law of, I think it was the one where you offer value. And you you believed in other people. Law of picture. Law of powers. You gave others some responsibilities. Hey, do this, do that. Law of connection. Leaders touch a heart before they touch a hand. You believed in them. So there's so many there. Law of addition. You added value. You served them. So how are you being a leader and creating other leaders? Okay? Because if you look at the math, it's going to be enormous. I want to create leaders. You guys follow my YouTube channel, subscribing. I'm doing this book club so I can get you guys to become leaders yourself. Read a leadership book so you can be a leader. Apply this stuff. And then you guys create more leaders. The last one. What does all this mean? Legacy. The law of legacy. A leader's lasting value is measured by his succession. Who's going to follow in your footsteps? Who are you mentoring? Okay? What will people say at your funeral? Stephen Covey did an exercise like this. The things they say tomorrow depend on how you live today. Law of legacy. Boom. Julian, how we doing on time? What time we got there?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. I be going in on these. Like, I'm like under 10. But I just want to do a couple more things in the book. Read a couple quotes. So much I could have talked about. I think I'm going to have to put even more work going into these beforehand. I put a lot of work into these. But I actually outlined the book, all my highlighted notes, and made a note for it here. Where is it? Right here. Boom. Law of leadership. So I talked about my favorite things. So with the law of a lid, a person's level of effectiveness can't be greater than a 7 if they're only at an 8. In effectiveness, their leadership can't be higher than that. So that's the law of the lid. Remember that whatever you will accomplish is restricted by your ability to lead others. Influence is the true measure of leadership, nothing more, nothing less. You must have influence or you can never lead others. Proof of leadership is found in the followers. Okay? Key factors. Okay, characters, who they are. I'm just going to touch this up on leadership. Characters, that's who they are. Relationships, who they know. Knowledge, what they know. Intuition, what they feel. Experience, what they've been through and done. Past success, what they've done. Okay? Experience is what they've been through. Where they've been. Ability is what they can do. So look at that in your own leadership ability and the leadership of others. So if you need to rewind that, if you need to pause that and write notes on that and see where you're at on each one of those areas for yourself and some people you know. Surround yourself with leaders. It's another thing like me and Julian are doing, which is, the law of addition, law of navigation, chart your course. 1, first of all, draw on your past experience. Examine condition before making commitments. Listen to others. Make sure their conclusions represent both faith and fact. Fusion of the two. Balance optimism and realism. That's key in navigation and strategizing. Magnetism. Values, background, attitude, energy, giftedness, strengths, weaknesses. Really good stuff here. This is my note from it. I have more. I could do a whole other video on this. Cop the book. I'm going to read a couple quotes from it, from the forwarded pages I have here. Oh, this is at the end they give exercises. John Maxwell's a really good author. That's why the next book I'll share with you is going to be the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Where'd that John go? There it is. And here we go. It's the leader's job to initiate connection with people. Who's in your phone book you can reach out to and try and connect with other leaders or build followers. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, just a great book. Leaders tell but never teach until they practice what they preach. Here we go. If you think your people are negative, then you'd better check your attitude. So leaders are reflective. Leaders are retrospective in that way. Let's see what we got here. The better leader you are, the better leaders you will attract. It's the capacity to develop, improve their skills that distinguishes leaders from their followers. The proof of leadership is found in the followers. If you have to tell people you are a leader, you aren't. Like, I'm real. Well, you don't got to say it. You are. I'm going to leave you guys on the last couple ones here. The number one enemy of empowerment is the fear of losing what we have. Being so scarcity-minded that this is all we have. Knowing you got it within yourself to create it again. Leading well is not about enriching yourself. It's about empowering others. Yeah, it's all about abundance, too. A team doesn't win the championship if its players are working from different agendas. You got to get all on the same page, which I'm on this same page right now, in this last page, which I'm going to quote Winston Churchill, a great leader and president of the country. He says, "What is our aim?" I can answer it in one word: victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory, however long and hard the road might be. For without victory, there is no survival. So, victorious leaders possess an unwillingness to accept defeat. The alternative to winning is totally unacceptable to them. Leaders buy into their own beliefs. Leaders buy in. Leaders apply these laws and apply some. It's great. Apply them all. You can be a world leader. So challenge you guys. Check out the book. If you're serious about being a leader, study John Maxwell. And to be victorious, that last one is to live the life you envision and navigate for yourself, and to connect with that best leader in you, that highest self, and live that great life you want. Next book we got, I'm going to experiment this back to back by the same author. Just finished this book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. And I'm going to hit you guys with some of the top lessons I learned from this. Different principles, different concepts. Still being a leader, but more on broader ways. And I'm going to narrow them down for you before I shoot the video. So this is the book next week, next Wednesday. Stay fresh. Stay blessed. Stay a leader. Stay creating other leaders. Challenge you guys. How are you showing up as a leader? Peace.